Lilananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Mo Namaha Namaha Pankajanahaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanitaya Namaste Pankajangrahe Namo Mahadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahma Hitaya Cha Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Vishnudaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatade Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vakarote Vakaram Langayate Ishvara Paramananda Om Avutro Pavitro Vasarnavastam Karati Yatsvarutikaksham Sadhanantaram Suche Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. Andar ela unnaru? How is everyone doing?
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, let me share the screen, Prabhu. What is this? Desktop. I hope I have permissions to share, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, you do have permissions to share.
It is asking for open system preferences. It's saying.
Are you Dhruv, right? I'll make you co-host if you want.
Yeah, do that. No, let us try this. I'm not able to share. I'm getting a. Yeah, let me try this now.
What does it say, Prabhu?
It says allow Zoom to share your screen, open system preferences, security and privacy to grant access.
It's there, Prabhu. Your system has some problem.
1 minute.
I'm already co-host. Prabhu.
What I'm doing is,
Yes, Prabhu.
what I'm doing is I'm sending you on your WhatsApp, Prabhu.
Okay.
Just see if you can share, Prabhu. Give me a minute. I'm just sending it to you on your WhatsApp. See, Prabhu, if you, I think, yeah, it has gone to you. Yes, it has gone to you.
Prabhuji, పంపించారా?
పంపించాను. See, it is in WhatsApp. Send it to you.
ప్రభుజీ మీ సిస్టమ్ లో ఏదో చేంజ్ చేశారు ప్రభుజీ, మీరు పర్మిషన్ సిస్టమ్ పర్మిషన్స్ ఏదో చేంజ్ చేశారు మీరు, షేరింగ్.
Oh, I didn't do any changes, Prabhu.
But what is it asking?
Oh, it is asking to change some settings in system preferences, and I'm trying to share the desktop. Let me open system preferences. Yeah, right. That should do. Yeah, thank you.
For now, I did it, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. You can put in slide mode, Prabhu.
Yes. Presentation.
Is it in presentation mode only, Prabhu?
Changes.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. Okay, so Prabhuji and Mataji, so before the session started, I think we have, I don't know, someone got confused by what I quoted 4 statements. So this is something about the statements which will be coming in the middle of our sessions, just to set a context what exactly we are going to talk about. I just wanted to repeat those statements before the prayers were uttered. Something like we said, Rama is sweet to heart, but Krishna doesn't know the heart of a woman. Kaikeyi, how sweet and loving is Bharat, but Rama is more sweeter Kausalya. That's what Kaikeyi says. Similarly, Kaikeyi Mata, I would have valued your words as much as my father's. Why did you do that, hurting him that much? I will kill that Bharata. I think he's not satisfied by sending us to forest yet. So with that 4 statements, I have started the session, post which we went ahead with the prayers. So before we go ahead, just to I think in the assembly of whatever devotees who are there in this session, I think they already know this. Lord Rama is none other than the expansion of Lord Krishna, and there are ample, though he is an expansion from Lord Krishna, there are significant or visible differences in their pastimes, or the way they have been, their pastimes have gone through in this Bhuloka. So Lord Krishna was born at the night time, whereas Lord Rama was born at the daytime. And Lord Krishna belongs to Chandravamsha, and Lord Rama belongs to Suryavamsha. And Lord Krishna was born in Mathura, brought up in Nandu Gokul, ruled kingdom of Dwaraka. So all his pastimes from birth till he left to his ultimate abode, all are like a different places, like a schoolboy shifts or gets transferred to multiple locations to attend his schools. So, like that, Lord Krishna has all the pastimes spread across all this childhood, boyhood, elderhood, and all everything have taken place in different places. But Lord Rama, born, brought up, ruled kingdom of Ayodhya just by staying in one place only, one place only for thousands of years. And his words, like Krishna, we know he's known for speaking lies or breaking promise, and that's what it's very difficult to contemplate or difficult to accept for so many non-devotees or Mayavadis to accept him as a supreme personality of Godhead. But Lord Rama, he's one word, one promise, that's it. So line drawn on a stone. So that's similar to that's what we compare Lord Rama. There is a visible difference. Similarly, Lord Krishna, he has 16,108 queens in Dwaraka. But Rama, he has only Ekapatni, only Mother Sita. And we know the threefold bending of Krishna, which indirectly signifies unpredictability or promise. It's his will whether to stick with the promise or not. But Lord Rama, his behavior is predictable and very ideal. So he is very ideal in the sense, whatever is ideal to the current situation, that's what he is going to act. That's the reason why it is being said that he is predictable and his behavior is very ideal, and that's what he shows to the world. This is how an ideal king should be. This is how an ideal son should be. This is how an ideal husband should be, and this is how an ideal citizen should be. So that's what different modes he shows in on how to live an ideal life. That's what there's a visible difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. And when it is being given said about in this Andal prayers as well, Andal everyone knows, especially the devotees in this group, surely they would be knowing about Andal. So Andal, I think in one of her revelations, she mentions that Rama is being a Ekapatni, having only Ekapatni, is very sweet and hot and easily predictable. That's what Andal says. But when coming to Krishna, it is very difficult or unpredictable. Suddenly, from a rasa dance, he completely becomes invisible. And that's how it's very difficult and we very he can't understand the heart of a woman. That's what Andal says about Krishna or thinks about Krishna. Like that, she has spoken or given some purpose on one of our statements. So that's what is being compared between Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. Now, today in this session, we are going to, though there are different qualities or different things we can learn from Ramayana. There are a lot of things which we learn from Ramayana, but in the interest of time and being 10th of this month, being Sri Ram Navami, that is tomorrow, 10th of April, I have only put some 10 qualities or 10 things what we can learn from Ramayana. So in those 10 things, probably we can go to the next slide. So the first thing is about power of bad association. Power of bad association. Where we see that what a bad association can make to the people. Despite we being good, sometimes when we get associated with bad people, it really creates a havoc in the environment. So it was a known fact in Ayodhya that Kaikeyi loved Lord Ram more than her son Bharat. That's what the second statement what I was quoting about. I mean, if even sometimes in villages, I've not seen this much in cities, but even in villages, we appreciate our brothers' kids or our sisters' kids more than we appreciating our own kids. That culture is still we see in village very much. I have not seen that particular aspect in cities, but that's how the things they are. And that's what the second statement I was talking about. Kausalya was used to love Bharat more than her own son, and similarly, Kaikeyi was loving Lord Rama very much when compared to son Bharat. So then, how could she become so evil? How could she become so evil? It's by her bad association with Manthara. Can anyone in this satsang mention what is the meaning of Manthara? Lilananda Prabhu, if you don't mind, can you go on mute, Prabhu?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I muted him.
Yeah. So the question is, what is the meaning of Manthara? Manthara. It's by her bad association with Manthara only. Such a good queen where she was having a very wonderful loving exchanges with her co-sister or Kausalya or Lord Rama. They were having a good wonderful relationship. Then how come she got this idea of sending Ram? That is only due to the bad association with Manthara. What is the meaning of Manthara?
One who disturbs the mind, Prabhuji.
Yes, Thara. Man means mind, Thara means disturb. So Manthara. So Manthara disturbed. Yeah, crooked mind. Yes, that's right.
Crooked mind. It also says because she also has hump and everything. Crooked in looking.
Yes, that's right. That's right, Mataji. She was having a hump where is it backside bendings and all would be there. So it is a little disturbing or not in shape. So that is also one reason. But one of the main reasons is disturbance of. She has caused the disturbance to Kaikeyi. The thing is, yeah, bro.
Mahesh Prabhuji, just one small query. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, bro.
So,
Yeah, bro.
Prabhuji, earlier parents were giving a negative name to their child. So how
Yes,
they give negative name to Manthara? Manthara is negative name.
Yes, bro. There is a valid reason for giving a negative name. It's not only about Manthara. I think you also might be knowing in villages. I can take my own example of my own village where a lot of people, even my own grandfather, has been named Pichi Rangaya.
No.
Pichi Rangaya.
That is by chance or that is intensely?
No. I'm going to tell the reason, bro. I'm going to tell the reason. One is my grandfather's name is Pichirangaya, and there are a lot of people in village where they give the name Pentaya, Sanyasaya, Daridra Narayana. So like that, the Pentaya means like shit. The literal, since you don't know Telugu, Pentaya means Penta means shit. Okay, that's the name given to a person in village. Similarly, Pichaya. My father's name is Pichi Rangaya. That is Mad Rangaya. That is the name given to my grandfather. The reason for giving those names, Prabhu, during that times, with the pandemic, a lot of people used to, kids used to die. And they used to give this bad name such that it doesn't buri nazar na lage. Isliye they give bad names. अगर अच्छा नेम देंगे तो अच्छा नाम देंगे तो देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी दैट नजर लग सकती है, लेकिन बुरा नाम देंगे तो कोई सोचेगा भी नहीं ना.
नहीं, but प्रभु जी बुरा नाम देने पे you do बुरी activity also, right? If Manthara is doing...
No. Yeah. In this case, she did it, but it's not a mandatory thing that if you are given a bad name, you have to do bad.
No, right. Because many cases, Prabhuji, I see the lectures. People say, what is the meaning of Dhritarashtra? What is the meaning of Duryodhan? So we try to say, because your name was negative, that's what you did this. Or we are just trying to relate, like he did that, that's what his name is like this.
So if that is the case, Prabhu, if that is the case, then what about that person?
Dukhi something, Prabhuji.
No, not Dukhi. There is one example. Ajamil. Ajamil, what is the meaning? Ajamil, what is the meaning? Tell me. No, I'm just coming to. I'm trying to go with your logic. No, actually, my point, Prabhu, what I'm trying to make is, it is not a mandatory thing that if you now Kashyapa Muni is there. Kashyapa Muni's kids are Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha.
Right. But the Prabhuji,
their father's name is added.
Yeah, the Prabhuji point I just made, because many places these leftist people, what they say, They say this is not a real, it is a story. That's what the name was given as a story character. So every character is given as an artificial name, and it is just like a novel. It's not a history. So what they say, you go and check, every name is given each what we can call as a the character based on their the activity. So that's what means they try to give a logic. That's what I thought it is.
Basic point,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
it's
I
true.
never
I
believed that it is a
Hare
story,
Krishna.
Prabhu. It is truly a history, Prabhu.
Yeah. See, Acharyas explained mantra is crooked in her physical form. That is why as soon as she was born as a humpback lady, she was given crooked name of Manthara. But Acharyas explained not only her physical body is crooked, but her mental status is also very crooked. She was very envious lady. So physically, yes, what Mahesh Prabhu said, in the olden days, even Sachimata had lot of abortions, and then to ward off evil, she went and she delivered under a neem tree. So that was people would have some kind of bad omens. They would name bad names, or they would go and deliver in a place where the evil would not come. It's a superstition belief, but people used to believe like that.
Okay, Mataji.
Can I add?
And
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, go ahead.
yes, Prabhu.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Prabhuji, there is one thing that, in the past, the naming ceremony was a very, very important ceremony in any family. Actually, name was never selected by the parents. These days, it's more like, we want to select a unique name for our child. We hardly follow any rules and regulations. But in the past, the name was purely selected by a Brahmana, and there was a whole calculation behind what name should be given. So certain names, like for example, when Kashyapuni procreated with his wife at a wrong time, he knew that a wrong child is going to come, who would be very materially attached and who would only exploit the universe. So he named them as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. He knew that. And after they were born, the Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu still had the free will to change it. But instead, change not the name, to say their activities. But they were born with those qualities, and we should always remember that our element of free will is very, very less, right? Again, I'm getting into a lot of philosophy related to that, but our element of free will is very, very minuscule. We think that a person can change, but a person cannot. Look at ourselves. How much have we changed over the period of years, right? Our free will is so, because we are born with this conditioned body with certain traits. This body is given to us to fulfill our desires, right? So to going against it, that's the reason Bhakti path is not that it's simple, but it's difficult, because we are going against our inert nature which this body has given. For example, this body is very lusty, this body is very demanding in certain ways. It's very difficult for this body, like it's equal to asking a tiger to eat grass, right? It will not, because its natural propensity is to eat meat. So in the same way, we have been given a name actually in the past based on our time of birth, in the past life. Actually, the Brahmanas could even know, what kind of soul is this, from where it came. So the name was given accordingly. Yes, when we look at Puranas now, we almost feel as if these names are given. Like you rightly said, Mishra Bro, that almost feel like, "Arey, ye to aise hi kaam kar raha hai, isko to aise hi naam hai." It almost feels like that. But actually, it was not like that. In fact, some characters like Duryodhan, his name was Suyodhan, right? His name was Suyodhan, but it changed to Duryodhan because of his activities, because of his association. And he also knows that my name has become Duryodhan. but that did not change them from their actions. They could have done something better out of it, but they did not change. As I said, change is not that easy. This is what is my understanding, Prabhuji. Might be.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the clarification.
Thank you. Sorry.
And Prabhuji, Mishra Prabhu, and another point is, surely, me personally, and as per the scriptures provided by Supreme Lord himself through the Acharyas and disciple succession, surely it is not a story. Yes. It is our history. I wanted to reiterate that point very clearly. It is our history, not a story wherein only for the sake of person. Because it's not only you, Prabhu. There are. It was surprising to see a lot of Prabhujis in our own community. despite being in a very higher positions in the IT companies, the general notion people they have is just to inculcate good values in people. They have created some stories who
Yes,
have not really happened, who have which have really not happened, only for creating good morals. These stories have been created and these names have been accordingly given. That is the impression. A lot of people who even in the roles of delivery manager and MD, managing director, and all that kind of people also they have this impression. But it is utterly wrong, only due to poor fund of knowledge.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, that is only shaking our base, because the moment if they say this is a story, the complete our faith and our culture will be gone, and that's what they are creating. So I think yes, what we are saying, Prabhuji, it's completely history, and there are a lot many we have proofs, and we need to discuss in the form of history only. So sometime when we say right the character name, and when we try to describe why it is name and what is activity, that implies it is a story. When we speak like somebody, you see what is the name of Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra was doing some blind, he was doing. So that implies any common logic, what it give to common man. We are talking as a history because he was doing the activity, and that is name. We are talking as the novel, a story. So this many people have asked me. You see every name and there is one that their character. It means it is a kind of a story. So that's the only point only I asked Prabhuji. And there's
no problem. So that's what the attempt, what are the sessions like Satya Prabhu, Subbarao Prabhu, and all our God brothers, Dear Prabhu, and all, they are doing wonderful youth preaching and all. This is how the awareness we need to create. I mean, we are making whatever through Lilananda Prabhu, we are trying whatever best knowledge we can build. Because see, till 40 years, when if we talk about individually, even we lucky that we got this knowledge, but had we not got this knowledge, we might also been on the same impression, right?
Yes.
So we need to in whatever menial service we can do in bringing awareness to the people on this aspect of scriptures being real and they are not fake stories. Okay, that awareness we need to create, and everyone is doing a little bit in bringing that awareness. Hope one day, when, as I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted, each and every village would be chanting the names of Lord Krishna. So probably they will also come to the understanding slowly, if not immediately, slowly. We are fortunate.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Okay, so this is what the love was exchanged between both sisters, between Hare Krishna. Okay. So Mantra brought a news to Kaikeyi, saying that Ram is going to be coronated, and a lot of celebrated environment has been there in the city. No, Prabhu, stay there only. A celebrated environment have been there in the city. So then, with happiness, Kaikeyi, oh, my Lord Ram is getting coronated. That's very wonderful news. Then she gifted a necklace. And then, then the ultimate happened. What that ultimate? She attacked the most vital part of any personality. Provoking. What kind of provoking? That's what the name, churned. You churned even the envy is not there in a person. You will try to churn the enviness in the person. So are you not fool? Your son is not getting, other wife's son is getting, and she polluted the consciousness of Kaikeyi. So with the bad association, we bring Krishna far away, and with good association, we bring Krishna towards us. So this is what, when the bad association comes, and if we are not able to think in proper way, always this happens. I mean, even in the practical examples, if you take, kids in our home also sometimes, they say, Daddy, amma mata vintuna venti. Amma mata vintuna venti. Some means, Daddy, how come you are hearing mom's words? Similarly, outside also, in our environment, if we closely introspect ourselves, we will see a lot of people who have their hidden agenda to be forefront. They pollute the consciousness of people. Now, with this knowledge of scriptures, we need to see what is good and what is bad. There will be our gurus, Shiksha gurus or Diksha gurus would be telling it. Might be hard pill to swallow, but we need to understand background truth that it is for their good. They are saying. So it is a practical example where kids often play this card. How come you are hearing mom's words? And similarly. Ajamil, sir, luckily since he had a good association previously, luckily he came out of it and gone back to Godhead. But after bad association come, even the likes of Ajamil also, they have fallen. So we should be very careful in choosing an association properly, and we need to always associate with devotees. And when we say associate with devotees, we should not take it for granted. We should not take it for granted. We need to be very careful, and we should be very careful in doing this. And this association, this knowledge, we are giving for example, if you are going to college preaching, that there are recently our Prabhujis or our God brothers also went to colleges and given so many things that they can. That is first. They generally, our team, our bunch of God brothers, they target only the first year students of a college, because till 12th class they would be there with the parental care. But first year of a college, the college is the time where it is easy to choose options. Choose options. And when I see this, I personally have seen in my engineering colleges. First year everything is fine, and by the end of first year there will be clear-cut bifurcation among the students where what kind of path or what kind of association each person is choosing. And even in our life we might have seen this. So even the preaching service, what our Prabhujis are doing, they are mainly targeting the first year students. First year students, why? Because that is the tendency, that is the stage where you can choose either this or either that. So we should be very careful about the association Prabhujis and Mahajis, and bad association really going to bring the curtains down at any time. So be careful. So that is what the first lesson, what we learn from Ramayana. Okay. Now the second one is about attachment to service and not to the position. Next, second quotation is about attachment to service. Attachment to service and not position. So Lord Rama was willing to become a king as a service to Maharaj Dasharatha, and he was also willing to go to forest at as a service to his father. When it was announced, okay, before announcing Lord Rama, Dasharatha has seen himself in the mirror and seen a lot of white hairs are there. What is happening? I think I'm becoming old. I think it is a high time to hand over the things to the eligible son of mine. So he had a meeting with all the ministers, and without any iota of doubt, all the ministers, they unanimously, without any iota of doubt, unanimously selected Lord Rama as a king, And when it was announced that he's going to be king, he was not too overwhelmed or too joyful. Unlike our material world, when you become a manager or a promotion, yes, I did. Yes, I did it. That's what. Though we might not say in front of colleagues, but जाके एक बार yes, I did it का feeling अपन महसूस करते हैं. So that's how he was having the same level of composure when he was not too happy when he was announced as a king, and was not too distressed when he was announced to leave the palace towards forest. So that's what the equally composed nature of Lord Rama. So he did everything as a service to his father. Never like a lot of movies show Bahubali himself for getting the throne, he tries to kill his own brother. So lot of politics, not leave about Bahubali or some mythical story. In our Puranas also, there are a lot of examples, and even in live environment, for gaining a power, what not people do in this current political system. You might have seen that. Lord Rama, he has shown to us, like, whatever we are doing, we have to do as a service. Only when you do as a service, then that kind of attachment you will not have it, and always the equicomposedness would be maintained. In fact, he asked Kaikeyi, I mean, then he asked Kaikeyi, I have always valued your words as much as my father's. Why unnecessarily distance? Why you have created this? You would have told me, I would have gleefully accepted it. Why this much disturbance was created? Without even not angrily, with a calm and composed words, he requested Kaikeyi. So if I'm going to forest makes you happy, live peacefully, I'll go without any issue, without even a tinge of revenge in my mind. So that's the statements what he has quoted. But now if someone quotes this, it's in this current world, we have polluted ourselves that much that if you see some kind of a personality like that, we immediately think what kind of what kind of hidden agenda he might be having if you are doing this thing. In this Kali Yuga, this much good people would be there. But luckily, if you search, you will find Prabhuji's and Mataji's. But it is very practical. It is, I agree, there are very less number of people like that. But being in the association, you can feel that there are a lot of personalities like that still, where they are easily composed. So any post given to us should be accepted as a service only, not for the privilege. Okay, आज मुझे manager का role मिल गया, तो मैं whatever, I will not go to office, work from home. I will phone bill left and right करूँगा. I will personal for call also do it, and I'll put in company's exchequer and all. We see a lot of practical examples like that. I mean, our own Radhesham Prabhuji has been taken a lot many roles, temple president, a lot of things. These are mere posts, but always the service motto we can see since we are lucky that through Lilananda Prabhu we are able to associate with him in person. So we are able to see that charm or some that glow, that he is not attached to pose, he is more service oriented. So like that, there are a lot of sadhus, brahmacharis who are in that category. And I mean, if you read that way, even personally in my own office in Infosys, when I have seen one of my colleague, he was at that time, he was almost 20 years experienced, and already there was a delivery manager there, and he was feeling that this 20 years experience who has recently joined, he might be threat to my position. So what he did was he has given this person duties similar to a staff. He has given a duty to the 20 years experienced person to do a asset management tracking, where you have to go to you have to ensure that all the keys are there, and duplicate keys for each and every rack in the data center. We would be having a lot of racks. So in that rack, a lot of servers, storage servers by Windows, a lot of servers would be kept. So for each and every rack, he has to ensure that a key is there, and if key is not there, a duplicate key has to be there. So like that, the activity was given for all the 14 buildings in Infosys Gachibowli office. So like that, in 14 buildings, each building would be having around 4 to 5 floors. In each floor, we will be having a server room. For each server room, he has to gather there. So that's a very menial task for his experience. But still, I see that he, without questioning or without escalating to senior management, he did that activity. He did that activity without any revenge mode. How come he has given this particular activity to me? So this I have seen it personally, Prabhuji and Mataji. He is my own colleague. He was there with me in my first company also. Later he joined Infosys along with me, and he was my senior before. And I have seen this in person. So, and similarly, there will be in our own communities, there are a lot of, a lot of people or in the committee members, they will be boasting about their role sometimes, sometimes if we do little bit of maska, they will agree to do anything what we want. When Prabhuji and Mataji, I'm giving these examples that whatever the lessons we are trying to learn from Ramayana, they are still valid in this current society as well. That's what the point is. That's what point is. I mean, we will be able to see a lot of people also when we sell. I mean, I don't want to point anyone as such name, but we might be seeing or doing Sri Ram Navami, a spiritual activity also can become a ritual activity or entertainment activity sometimes, taking photos or showing our wonderful sarees, wonderful necklace and all. That particular whole activity also can become an entertainment. So we should be very focused in spiritual aspects, Prabhuji and Mataji. So spiritual life, we can't take for granted. We should, if we are really serious, we should be very focused, and we should attach it to the service rather than the position what we are taking. So that's what the lesson what we are trying to learn from this second quality. Okay, Prabhuji, can you go to the next slide? So next one is about mission of life should be mission of life should be to vanquish the demoniac tendency. Mission of life should be to vanquish the demoniac tendency what is there within us. Lord Rama's purpose to kill the demons was fulfilled by his banishment of forest. So Lord Rama's arrival in this world, Lord Rama's arrival in this world mainly it was due to the prayers of demigods. Due to the prayers of demigods at that time, a lot of demons were there, and they were disturbing the balance in the environment. So a lot of demigods prayed for Krishna to arrive here. So he has taken avatar of Lord Rama and has come. And we need to understand here, when Lord Rama left to the forest, even the likes of Bharata and Vasishtha Muni, they have come to request him to come back. And demigods were little worried if they are forcing more to Lord Rama, probably hope he will not oblige and go back to kingdom again. So they are in a little bit of fear also, a little bit of concern also, that our purpose might not be served here. So that's what he clearly mentions, that demigods are a little worried about if he might go back. So despite the purpose of Lord descending to fulfill the purpose is to kill the demons. So that's what he was very focused, and we need to, like that, Lord Rama, since he has taken birth here or incarnated here to deal with the demons. Similarly, there are a lot of demons within us. In the show of having a people might be thinking that externally, what a wonderful devotee, what a pure devotee, they might think externally, but each and every individual has his own anarthas. There is saying, "Yavadi cinema ki yavadi hero, yavadi cinema ki vade hero." Kani ungo vision teliyadante entante, one more thing, literal translation in Hindi or Telugu, English says that for their own cinema, he is only the hero. That's the literal translation. It's a famous dialogue. Yavadi cinema ko vade hero. So many people don't know that Yavadi cinema ko vade villain kuda. A lot of people don't know that for their own cinema, they are the main villains. So we need to understand that aspect. Externally, we might be looking very wonderful, very pure, very wearing white dress and all, but we need to understand the anarthas which are staying within us, like lust, greed, illusion, pride, envy, anger, and that would be coming, and we need to tackle that. And Prabhuji and Mataji, leave about the non-devotees. Actually, devotees also, they might be having a little bit of everything there. But if everything is channelized properly, mode of passion, if you are able to channelize it properly in service, that is good. Coming to this internal anarthas like lust, greed, and all these aspects which are shown in the slide, these are subtly present in us. And if you clearly introspect each and everything within us, you observe that Krishna is giving that environment again and again to correct it. If you clearly introspect, for example, I'm angry, and you know that you are angry. First, there is a saying that half of the work is done then you are identify the problem it is. Half work is done when you are realizing there is a problem. Half of the work is done immediately after you realize that there is a problem. Now there is a problem, and you have to work. You have to consciously work on removing that anartha or that problem. Now Krishna is that much merciful that he keeps you again and again in that situation to correct it. But still we take it for granted, and sometimes we will not try to work on it. So please understand this very subtly, Prabhu, and try to introspect. And this is not mere statement for externally, like our lot of politicians promises, right? मैं वो दूंगा, मैं मेरे को वोट देने से मैं वो दूंगा, ये दूंगा, आपको कुछ problem आएगा, like he promises. We also might think, okay, I have identified my problem, so I will tackle this. I problem identified, I will tackle the problem. Yeah, Bharatna Mataji.
Yes, Nana. Shall I?
Yeah. Sorry, Prabhu. Okay, so like this, lot of anarthas would be there, but we need to understand it's not a mere statement that I have identified it and okay, I will identify it and I have cleared it. No, we need to consciously work and see what can be done. And if you clearly notice, even this also I can map it to the association of devotees. The more you keep association with the devotees, for example, anger, more you keep with the association of devotees, that particular environment itself will not come where you have to show your anger. Show your anger wantedly. Okay, so we need to understand this, and if Krishna is keeping us in that situation, we need to analyze that he has again given this. He has giving another exam paper. Since first or second exam I failed, he is giving another supplementary opportunity for me to correct my anartha. If with this attitude, if we are moving in our spiritual life, the growth would be really fast, Prabhuji and Mataji. It is even applicable for me as well. You know, sometimes we exhibit anger, and after we exhibited anger, when we introspect, yes, I should have handled it that way. I should have properly handled it that way, we think. But again, okay, you did the analysis. Again, Krishna puts you in that situation. So you need to be very concerned about that, Prabhuji and Mataji, and try to kill the internal demons. That's what the third lesson is being shown. Okay, so we should leave the material demoniac desires to take into Krishna consciousness. Okay, but like that, though they are showing only 6 here in the slide, there will be a lot of anarthas within us. If we really introspect. Okay, which are externally not, which externally it doesn't appear at all. Okay, now we will go to the next one. That is, even in the yeah, bro, you can go to the next slide. Even in the extreme reversals, you know, even in the extreme reversals, sometimes what happens is, if taken in proper spirit, even in the extreme reversals, if taken in proper spirit, will help us fulfill our mission in life. We need to understand that. I read this statement once again. Even extreme reversals, if taken in proper spirit, will help us fulfill our mission in life. We need to understand this. And for example, you know, law of gravity is only in effect in the earth space and not beyond. So also the laws of nature act only in material consciousness and not in spiritual consciousness. That's what we need to understand. And with this, you know, we understand one statement quoted by Guru Maharaj. He says, like, you know, when a rocket is launched, I think a lot of us might have heard it. When a rocket is launched, the top portion of the rocket will go through straight away and escape the gravitational pull and go out of the gravitational pull and escape the escape this gravitational pull. That we need to understand. The rocket's the top part. Similarly, though the top part of the rocket is compared to the pure devotees, they go to they go to the spiritual path that fast and escape the Maya's pull. So gravitational pull is compared to the Maya's pull. So pure devotees are are escaping from the pull of Maya, because they are always in transcendental ecstasy, and they will be in Krishna consciousness only. That's what he's compared. The pure devotee is compared with the top portion of the rocket. And similarly, all the grooming devotees or all the neophyte devotees, they are still somewhere affected with the gravitational pull, that is Maya's pull. So we need to understand that. So why what is the photo here shown is about why Prahalad is not affected is due to him being a spiritual consciousness or a transcendental consciousness where it won't affect. Now, Prabhuji, how come it is practically possible? We can think that way, but when we are thinking that in a bodily consciousness, those things matter. But we need to understand, Prabhu, all these things, when we talk about the extreme reversals, the extreme reversals were also faced by when in separation between Krishna and Radha. And Lord Rama also faced the same thing with, in separation with Sita as well. We need to understand that. That is also a pain. And the basic point here, what we mentioned is, in the material world, too much happiness and too much sad are bad. In the material world, too much happiness and too much sad is also bad. But in the spiritual consciousness, too much happiness and too much sorrow is also good. That's what in ecstasy, in separation, the love is more. You can see that. Yeah, in material world also, sometimes when a lover is away from his counterpart, and he's also in lot of pain. But that is sad in the material world. But in the when you are having spiritual consciousness, that separation is also good in both. Even in happiness and even in sad, in spiritual consciousness is good only. Your love and is increasing, and the spiritual consciousness does increase, but it is good when you are spiritually conscious. You need to understand that. Okay. And now, similarly, I mean, if you take a practical example of this, without most of the Prabhujis and Matajis in this call, how much you might have studied in your either the primary education or graduation, how many sleepless nights you had to come to the situation where you are currently. You might have seen. So without having proper pain taking, you will not be able to have that fulfill what is the mission of our life. For example, I want to clear this BTech with a distinction. Then you need to study a bit, you need to do hard work and all. So we need to, these extreme reverses also we need to take into our account. Like this, there are a lot of examples even in the scriptures as well. Narada's life you might have seen. He was a servant maid son. So he has gone through extreme reversals in his life. Extreme reversals in the life. Very young, he lost his mother. He was grown without father. I mean, immediately after his birth, or even before his birth, his father died in his previous life. So we are having these examples of Narada as well, who has proven time and again that even extreme reversals are, if taken in a proper spirit, will help us fulfill in our mission. But even in the current society, if something negative happens, a girl you love, if he or she is living due to whatever the reasons, he takes drugs, he kills himself. There are a lot of examples like that what we have seen in the past. But how many of us really have that faith? We need to understand that these statements merely are not statements. They are still applicable in our life, and we need to have clear-cut faith. Clear-cut faith should be there when we are talking about them. Okay. So now coming to the fifth quality, that is Ram and Aram. Ram and Aram. So you can go to the next slide too. So Ram and Aram. What's the meaning of Aram?
Rest.
Rest, yes.
Laziness.
Aram means rest. Ram and Aram. Now it is up to us whether we have to choose Ram or Aram. It clearly signifies the current condition. When Lord Rama was leaving the kingdom, in his kingdom, all the praja, their wives told husbands, their respective husbands, that if Ram goes to forest, we can't live peacefully at all in home. So, Prabhuji, can you go to the next slide, Prabhu? Praveen Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is the thing, Ram and Aram, a test for every citizen. So citizen of Ayodhya wanted to go with Lord Ram to forest and leave behind all the comforts of the city of Ayodhya. So we should be, all the wives were saying their respective husbands the same thing, that if Ram leaves to forest, we can't live peacefully at our homes. So we should be at least, for spiritual purposes, prioritize some things. But in current situation, spirituality is always a second priority. So luckily, being born in India, at least they can't reject the spirituality or the scriptures. At least, okay, they have some faith being in India. So, but lot of people, spirituality is a second priority. Something program is going on and some movie is coming. Movie is a primary priority, not the spirituality. So that has become a second priority. So when you are not able to prioritize Krishna, how come you can expect Krishna to prioritize? We need to understand that. But the same, a lot of devotees are there. They try to do charity. They try to involve in things, but somehow that material contamination would still be there. Where without this material touch, it is very difficult to survive. So we need to understand it's our free will to choose either Ram or Aram. So it's up to us what we have to choose. So we should be very careful and very alert with our spiritual commitments. That's what the fifth lesson, what we see from Ramayana. Now, sixth one is about alertness in spiritual life. Alertness in spiritual life. Actually in Ramayana, since Lord Rama was not allowed to leave. So in the initial juncture, so Lord Rama decides to leave in the night. In the night when no one is appearing, and even in the night 2 a.m. he was talking to Lakshman and saying that how much the populace of the kingdom love me, see Lakshmana. They are not allowing me to go. How much they love, and he was very very happy, or saying that they were having that much attachment to him, and he says the same thing. So Ayodhya was his. So since they were stopping him, he decides to leave early. Early in the sense, in the midnight itself. In the midnight itself, he plans to leave. So for even if he's leaving, there is a possibility that they can track the wheels of the chariot. So what they decide is, Rama tells his minister Samantai, saying that you take the chariot in multiple directions, such that the symbols of that wheels are there across all the directions, such that people get confused. So such a way he leaves. He leaves silently. Had one of them would have been awoke, then Rama might not have left. Rama might not. They would not have allowed Rama to leave. So we need to be. That's what this lesson shows, that we should be alert in spiritual life. We should be very much alert in spiritual life, and don't just do for the sake of doing. You should 100% get convinced that this is the ultimate goal of life. So how much seriousness we are having? That alertness should be there in spiritual life. If that alertness is not there, as I said in the previous slide, if you are not able to prioritize, don't expect Krishna also to prioritize you. It's a simple feeling, but despite we are not prioritizing Krishna, Krishna gives ample opportunities for us to prioritize him. To what extent he can go and give opportunities? We need to understand that.
Mahesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna. There's just one thing. So when we say prioritize, Krishna means a little bit elaborate what the meaning of prioritize Krishna.
Prioritize Krishna. Association of devotees, association of scriptures, associating with the service. These are all things, Prabhuji and Mahajis. Personally, personally, I have seen that. And when I say spiritual life, prioritize spiritual life, these are the things what you attach with. See, one thing, okay, I am associating. Tell me, since you asked this question, Prabhuji, what is the fixed deposit rate in the bank?
7%.
7%, right? Yeah. Now, Krishna has given almost 168 hours in a week.
Yes.
Almost 168 hours in a week. What is the 7%? What is the 7% of 168?
It's around 19 hours.
Yeah, it is around 13 to 14 hours. Okay.
12 hours.
30 to 14 hours. Now, if we feel that okay, weekly once 2 to 2.5 hours, I am anyhow meeting with the devotees, association of devotees, and rest of the time I will be associated with the material activities. Now, Prabhu, here doing material activities, now it depends on a consciousness what we are thinking. Yes. Now, working in office might be a material activity to the external world, but the consciousness what we carry while we are working, Krishna, I am doing this job such that I can serve you better. Yes. Krishna, I am ensuring my kids are studying, and my kids are studying. Hopefully, they will become a devotees, and somehow I wanted to enable from my end how can I imbibe values in my kids. My wife is there. How can I ensure that she, while I am out, she's taking care of my kids in a devotional environment? How they can, while sleeping, Mataji is telling the stories of scriptures, and Prabhuji, believe me, night sleeping with kids with the scripture stories and all, it really helps.
Right. So it is. Yes.
These are the activities. How we can ourselves engage. See, there are things which we can't avoid. About doing job 8 hours in office, we can't avoid it. But the consciousness should be there. I sometimes speak harshly to my associates. Sometimes when things are not going, and repeatedly after saying multiple times where they are doing the same mistakes, I sound harsh sometimes. But I don't have an intention of a revenge mode that this girl should be targeted or this boy should be targeted and scolded. But the only intention within me is, Krishna, please correct them. They are doing this repeated mistakes again. If they are doing it again, tomorrow client will be not happy, and it will be impacting the project, and the work will not go smoothly. That should be the consciousness.
Right. So Prabhuji, doing job with dutifully, honestly, is it not a part of spirituality?
Yes, Prabhu. It is indeed part of spirituality, Prabhu. But Prabhuji, now this statement what you quoted, right? That statement is like a double-edged sword. There are the same. This statement might encourage to the people who say that who say that the work is worship. काम ही भगवान है. करके भगवान को ही भूल सकते हैं वो. Because they prioritize their काम.
No. Prioritize your.
No. What I am trying to say, Prabhu, your statement can be misunderstood also. I mean.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you are thinking like that. But sometimes these statements, these spiritual statements, right, Prabhu, they are very subtle. There are a lot of villains, there are a lot of bad people who quote Bhagavad Gita in Krishna. He did this. No, what is wrong? Krishna has pulled the saris, taken the saris of gopis. What is wrong from my end? I will also pull.
Yeah, right. That will be depend on the circumstances.
Yes. That's what I mean.
So Prabhuji, so one more question. Sorry, Prabhuji, actually I'm
no
so just one, Prabhuji. So you said like to be spiritually conscious, we need to find the right association, right? We need to have right association with the pure devotee.
Yes,
So because these days, Prabhuji, devotee means we already see, right? Many people externally devotee, internally it's very difficult to find. So what are the is there any way we can quantify and understand the level of a devotee? How we can identify somebody who is a genuine devotee? Because there are many people externally looks like devotee, but they have their own agenda. They're ethically corrupt. So how a normal person can identify a right and genuine devotee? What are the metrics we can say this person? Even how the way I can identify what is my level of the devotee? I'm as level 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there any?
లాక్ చేసిందా ఉన్నారు ఎవరన్నా?
సత్యదేవ్ ప్రభు ఇంట్లోకి వెళ్తారా?
సారీ.
Yeah. Prabhuji, yeah. Is it go ahead, Prabhu? Sorry.
So sometimes, Prabhuji, I want to see what is my level. So what are the different way I can identify where I stand, right? What is my level of the genuineness in the devotee spiritual level? So is there any way, any metrics that I think I'm speaking more the other term, like it means, is there any way we can identify the purityness of a devotee? So we can identify the right association, because you saw, right, because of the mantra, the Kaikeyi got completely trapped under the wrong association.
Yes,
So to find out the right association, is there any way we can way to identify or quantify the level of purityness of devotee?
Prabhuji, for your aspect, Prabhu,
Yes.
if I'm only talking about you, don't worry, Prabhu, you are in safe hands. you are in safe hands. But now coming to a generic question, Prabhu, generic question not applicable for you, Prabhu. Prabhuji, there are a lot of people who think like that, but Prabhu, who thinks like that, no, internally, in my opinion, Prabhu, somewhere they don't want to be devotee, Prabhu.
Yes.
Somewhere internally they don't want to be devotee, Prabhu. They're not 100% sure that I wanted to become a devotee, Prabhu.
Means because in the beginning only we said, right, we need to get a right association.
Yes, Prabhu.
If we'll not define what is the meaning of right association to new people, like if you don't define your kids what is right and what is wrong, right, then how the kid will go to the right place? And if somebody asks what is right and wrong, and if we just say no, somebody is asking what is right and wrong, it means you're not interested to go. That means you are just saying not to ask what is right, what is wrong.
Prabhuji, if that particular devotee is in path of devotion, Prabhu, Prabhuji, now let me take an example of a school. We tell our children to be associated with the toppers only.
No, with good people, not to.
No, it's not wrong thing, bro. I'm not saying it is wrong. I'm not saying it is wrong. In general, in the school, we say our kids that get associated with the toppers only. That is first or second or third rank. Even it's applied to me also. I also been told by my mother that you be in touch with only the toppers only, not with other kids who are playing. Anyway, my mother is different, but that's what we say. Now, Prabhu, in terms of spirituality, Prabhu, by seeing the purity, now in the lineage, especially the people or the devotees who are there in disciplinic succession, Prabhu, and even in being in disciplinic succession, there might be some devotees. There is one saying, Prabhu, if you are in disciplinic succession, and even if a devotee is an angry devotee, stay associated with him. That's what he says. Associating with the arrogant bhakta is better than a pious non-devotee.
Yes, yeah, that's yes.
So better than a pious non-devotee. Are you able to correlate when I say pious non-devotee?
Yeah. Yes.
So it's better to associate with a arrogant devotee than a pious non-devotee. We need to understand that. And Prabhu, these are the purity you can observe. Unlike a material thing where you can purchase that 1 kg good dena, 1 liter doodh dena. Materially, there are units. But for devotion, Prabhu, devotion, you need to see the purity of the person, and
how will see the, that's what
now tell me, Prabhu, can you say that Srila Prabhupada is pure devotee?
Miss Atford, based on, actually I have been not personally associated, but based on his actions, based on his actions.
No, you're not personally associated, but in the same disciplinic succession,
based on the Prabhupada action, what he did, selfless. But he has not done anything for self. He did selfless, and he even sacrificed entire his life, family. So definitely we can say the pure devotee. Prabhuji, what I feel selfless and selfish, that I think differentiate. That's a high level, I understand, but that's.
So
the pure devotee.
Prabhu, your voice broke, Prabhu.
No, I'm saying yes, Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada was a pure devotee. He did completely selfless for Lord and tried to encourage all people to go and serve Lord. So there was no any selfish motive. So he was a pure devotee.
Yes, Prabhu. So Prabhuji, we need to understand one basic point. Everyone has positives and negatives. Please see only good and learn, and don't concentrate on bad. Bad, that is your purification, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, I think
that is your purification, Prabhu.
I think that is the only human nature, Prabhuji. Always don't look for bad, but finally keep also seeing.
No, Prabhu, it is proven again and again. Proven. It might be difficult. But we are lucky that we are having a lot of examples. Okay, Srila Prabhupada, our grandfather, we can say, you might not have seen in person, but there are a lot of living examples. If you are really interested, you have to make an effort. You have to make an effort to see them, and your desire would be fulfilled if you pray to Krishna.
Yes, that's very much true, Prabhuji. I think that's what the answer I was looking for.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Can I add something?
Please.
Prabhuji, I was remembering something. Mr. Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhuji, very nice question.
Prabhuji, sorry, actually I'm disturbing. I think I am unnecessarily disturbing.
Oh, no, Prabhuji, this discussion eventually is to purify us only, Prabhuji, including the person who is asking, the person who is answering, the person who is listening. Krishna Katha will purify everybody. So Prabhuji, actually this question was haunting me also many times, that how do I identify that pure devotee? How do I become a good devotee? All these questions were always troubling many devotees. So I heard this from His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj. There is a very nice sannyasi in ISKCON society, very senior Giriraj Swami Maharaj. So once in his lecture, Giriraj Swami Maharaj told that everybody is a devotee except me. Like that he told. And suddenly, people hearing were shocked. And then during the question answers, they asked Maharaj, how can you say that? How can you see that everybody is a devotee except you? I mean, are you telling even materialistic people are devotees? Are you telling everybody except you? I mean, are you referring to only devotees, or are you referring to materialistic people also? Or are you referring to whom when you made that statement? Then, Maharaj, in a very humble way, he told that Prabhu, everybody is serving Krishna, and I feel I'm the one who is only confused how to serve Krishna. Then people are even shocked. How can you say that materialistic people are serving Krishna? So then Maharaj told that devotees are serving Krishna's internal energy, non-devotees are serving Krishna's external energy, Maya. So they are serving some or the other way, but I am sitting in between confused because I'm not serving Maya, but I'm not serving Krishna also. I still doubt whether I should serve or not. I'm in deep confusion, right? So this answer was very perplexing to many people, that a pure devotee actually sees, when we hear such answers, you understand that pure devotee actually sees that everybody is serving Krishna better than him. Even when he sees a materialistic person, he sees this materialistic person also is better than me. It's just a question of him changing to a devotee. The moment he changes into a devotee, he has better qualities than me, and he'll become a better servant. And we know that discussion of Dronacharya with Yudhishthir and Duryodhan, when Drona asked Duryodhan, go and find somebody better than you, he told, I am not going anywhere because there is no one better than me. And when he asked Yudhishthir, go and find somebody worse, worse than you, Yudhishthir told, there can be nobody more worse than me. So I am the worst. I find everybody better than me. So again, it is a consciousness. And one of the things, Prabhuji, is our I'm making the statement where I'm not practicing it. Let me put a deep qualification to that, because it's a very heavy statement. Is that a spiritual person goes internal, a materialistic person goes external, right? So materialistic person is always looking outside to find his happiness and to find his avenues of understanding, right? He takes shelter of outside to understand things more and to find that happiness. But a spiritual person is looking inside, right? He is very busy looking inside, and he finds so much nonsense inside that he doesn't have time to go outside. That he is like, I'm done. Mere se nahi hoga. If somebody goes and tells a pure person, spiritual person, hey, this devotee is doing like that, he'll say, why are you speaking about him? You don't know what nonsense I'm doing. You don't know what all I'm going through. Let me keep that aside. Let me fix myself, right? And he actually sees so many problems within him that he finds it no reason to go and find any fault with outside people. He is very busy internally than externally, and he is always trying to find a solution to fix himself, not a solution to fix others, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's always in search of that. He goes to a satsang, is like, प्रभु कुछ बोलो ना, क्या करूं, मतलब chanting कर रहा हूं लेकिन नहीं हो रहा है. Maybe I should chant properly. Maybe I should chant early in the morning. Maybe I should chant the mantra given by Guru. Maybe I should take initiation. Maybe I should fix myself. He's all the time, he's not self-centered, but he's centered around Krishna, right? He's like completely internal. His focus external is very less. And he always remembers that the purpose of this life is to do, first of all, uddhar to yourself, then logon ka uddhar karo. You first deliver yourself properly, then
Yes.
you can give Krishna to others or not. So it's a very heavy statement, but most of the time what happens when people come to devotion, they want to make sure everybody is correct except themselves.
Yeah.
सभी लोग करेक्ट है कि नहीं, वो उसके ऊपर फोकस ज्यादा रहता है, हमारे ऊपर कम रहता है. But a person who is advancing, his focus is on himself, and he doesn't focus on anybody else. Even if you push him to focus, he'll say, टाइम नहीं मेरे पास, मेरा चैंटिंग है, मेरा my own anarthas are there, what will I help anybody, forget about it, like that. So to identify such people, we need a pure heart. But when you see such people, such uttam adhikaris, we call them uttam adhikaris, is when you find one person like that, then you should not leave his feet. You should continuously serve him, and then Lord Krishna will be very, very happy and make you a devotee also, make us a devotee also when we serve such a devotee. That's my little reflection of what you were saying. Sorry, Mahesh.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Now we got much clarification.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, so the basic point is, if one is inattentive on lazy, one will lose stage in bhakti. So that's the point is. And coming to the seventh learning from Ramana, Praveen, we'll go to the next slide. So that's about saintly person might cause pain to others, not to hurt them, but to benefit them. So we should be careful about that. Sometimes saintly persons might cause pain to others, but the intention is not to hurt them, but to benefit them. So people, when Bharata was seeing the Ayodhya, people were weeping. All the litter were not removed. All the dry leaves were there. They are not cleaned it. And Bharata was observing all these things, and it was very surprising to him. And and Kaikeyi was happy, announcing to him, now you are going to be the king. You are not happy. She was in a feeling that he did a very good thing to Bharat. But to that gesture, Bharat even So God had thought to kill Kaikeyi also, but killing of a woman is not ideal as per Kshatriya Dharma, and to kill mother is not a ideal thing. So he didn't do that, and Bharat, being a very saintly person, only caused pain to her with your act. How much havoc has been created, how much commotion has been created in the kingdom, and you have left Lord Rama, ensured that Lord Rama is living to forest and all, and he has given a, he has given statements which are really painful to Kaikeyi. Painful to Kaikeyi, but the intention was not to hurt them, but to benefit them in realizing what kind of negative thing you have done. Similarly with Prahlad Maharaj also, and even in practical exams, when we beat our son, we beat our kids. Sometimes when we beat our kids, it's not the intent of hurting them; it's only with the intention of correcting them. So that's what we need to understand. Similarly, when doctor, what are the photo you are seeing here, injection. Okay, you are giving the injection to get the disease cured, not with the intention of hurting them. So it is one example, practical example, what we could see. Okay, yeah. So Bharata disowning Kaikeyi and Prahlad disregards Hiranyakashipu and all are these examples for the seventh quality what we learn from Ramayana. Now, eighth one is to our goal should be to please the Lord. Prabhuji, next slide, Prabhu. Yeah, our goal should be to please should to please the Lord. Please the Lord. And Bharat's when it is a past time where we see that Bharat was seeing Ram and Lakshman wearing the tree bark dress kind of thing, and having a liquid applied for having a jata prepared from their hair. So he became a jatadhari. He also, after seeing this scene of him wearing a tree bark and the jatadhari posture, he felt unconscious. And Bharat also, when Bharat also wear the same dress and matted his hair accordingly as it was there for Rama. So any idea why he has wear similar dress as that of Rama? Bharata has wore the similar dress as Rama, where it was given, tree bark dress and having a jatadhari avatar. Why he has worn the same thing, Bharata? Any idea? Any guesses?
I mean, just like because Ram is right now in jungle, so he want to also be just like what the Ram is living, the way Ram is. Means he don't want to be as a prince. He want to be same like Ram.
Yeah,
as a,
you're right, Prabhu. He wanted to become a proxy for the Lord Ram for those 14 years.
yeah.
And in fact, he was trying to say, Rama was trying to say to Lakshman that, see how Bharata loves, and you were planning to kill him, because Lakshman initially thought that Bharata is coming with the army to attack us, because he was not happy sending them to forest, and not only forest but also to kill them. So that was the negative impression what Lakshman was having, and was planning to have a war with him. Later Ram says, see, you have mistaken Bharata for what he has done. So he quotes the same thing, sometimes, our motto. So later, even it is said that even in the Acharyas say that Bharata wanted to go on fasting, directing himself towards the north direction, and he wanted to fast until death. But Lord Rama convinces him that dying is very easy. Dying is very easy, but to serving is more important. So only the obligation, or with the purpose of only satisfying the Lord or to please the Lord, he accepts the kingdom, and that too by keeping his padukas in the the padukas on the throne. So we need to understand, we generally, our goal should be always to please the Lord. Even if you see in our home, the practical examples, if we see our kids sometimes in order to play more, they say to us, Amma, I did this additional exercise today. I did that additional exercise today. Can I leave early and all? So if I say that I did additional exercise, all correct and all, he feels that, he or she feels that he pleases his mother or father. So we need to understand that our goal should be to please the Lord, and in whatever way possible. And when Vishnu Prabhu asked that, we no offense intended, Vishnu Prabhuji, but generally even for a lot of people, if we see a lot of people with lot of innocence, they don't have any, they are very clear with the goals. We're very clear with the goals. Harinam is the only way process to for this solution, and they're very pretty clear. They don't have any questions like this: why that happened, why this happened, why, if that happened, what was the reason why Krishna did this? There are no more questions for some people. It doesn't mean that asking questions is wrong. It doesn't mean that. But basically, Lord gets attracted to the innocence and pure devotion of his devotees. He gets attracted more with his innocence, with the devotees' innocence and devotion. Lord gets attracted soon towards them. That we need to understand. And even even there is a pastime of Guha. Everyone knows about Guha, right? Boatman. While he was going to exile, he takes Lakshmana, Rama, and Sita towards crossing the river. So then Sita gives a gift to him. Sita tries to give a gift to him and asking Ram to give it to Guha. Then Guha, being a boatman or illiterate, he simply says, I am a boatman, you are a boatman. What is there between us to share or gift? We both are boatmen. Any idea why he quotes Rama as a boatman? Any guesses?
लॉर्ड रामा, आई मीन वो बोल हिंदी में आई कैन टेल प्रभु जी, भवसागर से ये लॉर्ड राम है, एंड इट्स नॉट गुहा, इट इज केवट.
ओके,
तो केवट तो भगवान को नदी पार कराया, और लॉर्ड राम हमको ये भवसागर से पार कराएंगे. लाइक दैट बोथ आर बोटमैन.
Yes, Mataji. Now coming to this keyword, Mataji, probably I need to understand because what I have known is about Guha, but if it is keyword, I need to check that, Mataji. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, you are right, Mataji. For boatman, yeah, he says with that that consciousness that Lord Rama is since I, being a boatman, I am trying to take from this shore to other shore. Lord Rama, you are going to take us from this material shore to spiritual shore. So with that intent, he says that dialogue or a statement. And Rama. So with this statement, I mean, Rama gets attracted despite being illiterate. This innocence and the pure devotion towards him generally attracts the Lord, not being complicated. So that's what. So for Bharat, he wanted to stay in the forest, which was easier than to return and rule the kingdom. But he did it to please only the Lord. That's what we need to understand. And our activities also should be towards towards pleasing the Lord. Yeah. Next one, Prabhuji.
And Prabhuji, just one query. Sorry, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, when we say please to Lord, any other example, like we all are in different profession, we are working in different. So pleasing Lord means for different people, like somebody is working in me.
Example, Prabhu. Since you are asking the example,
yes.
Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Okay. So see, I mean, our own Lilananda Prabhu is serving cows, and since the scriptures it is mentioned. So it is a live example, right? Wherein is serving cows, and in turn it pleases the Lord.
Right.
It pleases the Lord. This is a practical example. Now, whatever the earnings we are having, for example, if we are spending some amount towards the spiritual education in the society, that's also please the Lord. What right. So many Prabhu Iyer Prabhu, Subbarao Prabhu, Sacha Prabhu, Praveen Prabhu, Akinchal Prabhu, Lakshman Prabhu, a lot of Prabhujis are, they were doing these activities in glorifying the Lord's pastimes. So that please the Lord.
And Prabhuji, doing your prescribed duty, it is not pleasing to Lord?
No, Prabhu, it does please the Lord, Prabhu. But as I said, now again I reiterate, doing in the disguise of doing a prescribed duties, if the consciousness is bad, it will not serve.
Right.
Very subtle statement, Prabhu. Very subtle statement. We need to understand it.
And second question is, not doing your prescribed duty and doing other thing, is that serving to Lord?
What do you mean by other things?
No, other things means other service. Let's say when we say we are going to do temple, I'm doing service, but I'm not doing my prescribed duty. I'm is this a serving to is this a
Prabhuji, by compromising your own family and going and serving is not advisable, Prabhu.
Yeah,
if your question is that, for example, okay, मेरी wife and दो बच्चे घर में हैं, उनको छोड़ के मैं temple जाके सर्व करूंगा, no, Prabhu, it's not good idea, Prabhu. Rather, you take everything, involve them in service.
Yes. So it means, Prabhuji, pleasing to Lord means we need to focus our prescribed duty and plus as much possible try to do the spiritual activity.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Okay. So that's about pleasing the Lord. Now, Lord is the proprietor. We need to understand. So, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So that's what he's being said in Bhagavad Gita. So Bharat was ruling the kingdom on Lord Rama's behalf by giving the padukas on the throne. We are only the caretakers. He is the real proprietor. He can give and take away. The caretaker acts according to the will of the Lord. That's what we need to understand. So every day, and in fact, he every day offered flowers, chamar, the padukas of Lord Rama. Even it is said in Shastras as per our Acharyas and Guru Maharaj, where Paduka was speaking to Bharata and he was saying, I am more sad than you because I am separated from him. And more embarrassing part is, you have kept me in the throne. I was better in and under the feet of the Lord, tasting his dust, his lotus feet's dust. So he was also very sad. So we need to understand, Prabhu. So Bharat teaches Lord, he is the supreme proprietor. Prabhuji, we need to understand that whatever the lessons we are talking about, it is still applicable in the real world as well. And I have seen personally, Prabhu, where a lot of brahmacharis also, they always think about Krishna. I mean, a lot of brahmacharis are there. When they are not in the service also, either they would be chanting or thinking about them. We need to understand that Lord is the proprietor and act as per his instructions. Okay, last slide or last quality is about anybody can make show of great business, greatness. The reversal stresses who we are. When Lakshmana cuts Surpanaka's nose, gone was the charming form, gone was the facade, and then real ugly face manifested. One's greatness is tested by one's ability to tolerate. So, I mean, it is just a funny statement when Surpanaka tries to get hold of Lord Rama. Lord Rama mentions that I'm already married. See Lakshmana there, who is Kali. So you can think about him in the bit of humor. So later, what has happened, you might have seen. So maintaining greatness cannot long much. And it's a matter of time where the real nature comes out. So we need to understand that. So there will be a lot of people showing, might be showing off a lot, but it's not a thing which can sustain for much longer time. So we should not go with those fake statements or fake greatnesses. You might be seeing a lot of people in the society where they quote, Bhagwan jaise ye, Bhagwan jaise wo, Paramahamsa jaise ye, Paramahamsa jaise wo, and a lot of show-offs are being done. But once it's a matter of time where the actual reality comes, and we have seen there are a lot of examples like that where fake babas, unka baksa gul ho gaya. So we should be very careful. So we should not show off for any greatness, and we should be situated in our original position and try to be serious in our spiritual path. Okay, next slide is the last slide, where this is the sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam in glorification of Lord Rama, where it says, Vishuddhanubhavamatramekam swatejasa dhvasta guna vyavastham satyak prashantam sudayopalambhanam hyanama rupam niraham prapadye. That's what is being said in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.19.4, where it is, translation goes something like this: the Lord whose pure form, Satchidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature, can be perceived by pure consciousness. So we should be clear that nirguna doesn't mean that God is not having any guna. Basically, the nirguna means it is not affected by the modes of material nature. So that's what is being stressed about in this sloka. Uncontaminated by the modes of material nature, can be perceived by pure consciousness. In the Vedanta, he is described as being one without a second. Because of his spiritual potency, he is untouched by the contamination of material nature, and because he is not subjected to material vision, he is known as transcendental. He has no material activities, nor has he a material form or name. Only in pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, can one perceive the transcendental form of the Lord. Let us be firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra, and let us offer our respectful obeisances unto those transcendental lotus feet. That's what this Srimad Bhagavatam shloka says about the glorification of Lord Rama. Okay, with this, I'm really sorry. I think I have taken longer than the needed time. But this ends the session on glorification of Lord Rama, and on occasion of Sri Ram Navami. And whatever this session, the slides are what I have presented. These are merely in extension to the presentations given by our Guru Maharaj, His Grace Radhana Swami Maharaj, and His Grace Radhesham Prabhuji. So from them only I took this session and try to collate the data and present it to Prabhuji. It's nothing which I manufactured it. Any questions anyone have? No questions? Okay.
Hare Krishna, wonderful session. On the occasion of Ram Navami, you reminded us all of the 10 qualities that we should possess. Very nicely engaged everyone. Lot of discussions in the middle as usual. Thank you very much for a wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Answering all your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.